Hiya. So I'm Toby. I've had a lot of passion for the environment and wildlife and animals from an extremely young age. As I've grown up, I've sort of recently seen that there's a lot of issues in the world, and it's all caused by human activity. And about a year ago now, me and my friend discussed at home that we should go out and do something about it. It in a way that is relatable for the average human. So we want to portray what we do in a way so everyone can help. So you don't have to have experience, you don't have to be educated in conservation and the environment. And so that's what we're currently doing. It's like building a respect for the wildlife and our habitat, because I feel like there's a massive lack of that in the world. So we hope to spread that message and show everyone how easy it is to help out, how it can just take a few hours every week, or even just helping out along the way. So don't throw rubbish on the floor, don't litter, eat in a sustainable way, and just do everything you can to live your regular life, but in an environmentally friendly way. So as an individual, we all have to make sacrifices. So that could mean like some of them are so small you almost won't even notice them. So don't leave the tap running when you brush your teeth, things like that. Don't waste food. A lot of food can always be reheated. I eat quite a lot, so if I don't ever finish something, I'll wrap it up, chuck it in the fridge, and I'll heat it up later on or eat it cold. It's just not being wasteful, and really just being grateful for what you have and not wasting anything at all. Because that's one of the main causes. And when we learn to live a life like that, then we start to work with the environment and our world in general, rather than sort of working for ourselves, earn our own benefits and things like that. So I record a lot of the work that I do, and that's just to mainly show people the effort that's involved. And I actually find what I do pretty fun, especially when I do it with friends. Because I feel like the thought of going out and picking up rubbish, people would hate the idea of that and think it's horrible. But when you actually get down to it, you can do it on your own, and it is pretty fun. I'm sort of very good at finding fun things along the way, and when you get friends and a good lot of friends to help out, it becomes even more fun. But on the way, we sort of see a huge range of rubbish, a lot of plastic, a lot of glass, like wires and things like that. Um, and some of them I found wrappers of chocolate bars and things like that. And we found a wrapper from a chocolate bar which must have been from before the 80s, a can of Pepsi, which we managed to find out was from the 1950s, which was insane. And I thought finding that was a really strong impact to say, this is almost 70 years old. Someone threw it away 70 years ago and it's still here. So that could show people the severity of throwing rubbish on the floor, how it's going to remain there for an extreme long amount of years. And it's, we also come across, I remember once I came across a spot at my local springs, Ivel Springs. There was a bag of rubbish, like a carrier bag, full of sweet wrappers, drink bottles and cans. And obviously some kids had hung around there, which is absolutely fine. And they put all the rubbish in the bag, which is good, but they just left it there. They didn't take it to a bin. So they had have done the hard part, but they didn't do the easy part, which is just carrying it out with them. So it's just very small things like that. I go out with friends. I hang out at nature reserves because that's what we all kind of like. We're all into that sort of thing, a nice relaxing environment. And before we get up and leave, we get torches out, and really search the floor any rubbish that might have been left behind from us. And you I'm not against any sort of things like that being taken into the nature reserve. It's just like leaving them behind. That's the problem. So in the grand scheme of things, I kind of like my word to be spread across like the world. That's why I've got my YouTube channel, because I think that's a very good way of not just communicating with your local area, but the rest of the world, because this problem is absolutely everywhere. And people can find different ways to help out. Um, so I've decided to like portray myself as an average person. I thought about going to uni doing conservation, but I thought if I portray myself as an average person, I can relate to a lot more people. And with what I'm doing, I've been offered to be enrolled in volunteer conservation work, which has been incredibly easy. It's just like naturally happened. And if it's naturally happened for me, it can happen to absolutely anyone else. So the grand achievement really is changing the world, making it a nicer environment so we sort of co-inhabit with our wildlife, because the world itself now is all for humans, really. We don't really care about anything else as a whole. And I'd like to completely change that, because it should be changed. We have to care about our environment. I want to like build a larger respect for the environment. I think that's the main point, like, or the first sort of stage, and to encourage people to have fun in the environment, go out on hikes or camping trips and have fun, because when you have fun, you sort of learn to appreciate the natural world in a completely different way. And I feel with society and the way it is, everyone is disconnected from the natural world. And that's why I feel we don't have a respect for it. So the main goal is going back to the sort of roots of things, getting people to be open-minded to enjoying this world, respecting this world, and getting out of their bad habits, which I've had to do. From like growing up, I haven't come from a family that is super environmentally friendly. So for me to do what I'm doing, I've changed my diet. So everything I eat is sustainable, which if you asked me 2 years ago, I thought that I could not be doing that, but I have, and it's pretty easy. I don't miss eating the foods I used to eat. You just sort of work with what you have and you enjoy what you have. And yeah, those are all huge issues in the world. And I completely agree that these larger companies have probably overall, companies as a whole have one of the largest impacts on the natural world. And it's up to us to, when we go shopping, to choose items that are the lesser of two evils, you could say. Um, and we can, so if we do buy something that comes in plastic packaging, we have to make sure we're sort of separating the plastic from the cardboard on that packaging, separated so it can be recycled. And a lot of packaging, like the sort of cellophane film that comes on food, that can't be recycled, which is unfortunate. It's all about looking for like alternatives in what we buy, to truly see if we actually need that product, or if we can use this one, which might be a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it in the grand scheme of things because it's not causing as large of an impact on the world. I feel like reaching out to larger companies and getting them to make a change, it's hard for individuals. You've got like Greenpeace, for example. I donate to them, and I sort of think if you can't do something about something yourself, you should help someone else who is able to do work in a field that you're unable to do. And when we go shopping as well, we also need to not support a product that we don't think is right. And palm oil is an absolutely huge one. Um, from sort of changing my environment, I'm looking at the ingredients a lot more, and I've noticed like a lot of vegan slash vegetarian Tesco branded foods. The vast majority of them do contain palm oil, and it's a huge problem. It's hard to tackle, but the best way we can do it as individuals is to absolutely not buy that product. It's all about supply and demand, because as a company, if everyone makes that change, the company will see, well, we aren't selling a lot of this anymore. Why has that happened? And then they'll figure it out, and then they'll switch to an alternative oil, which there are like a lot of. So yeah, it's all about making small sacrifices and not supporting something that we don't agree with, even though we aren't the ones who have caused that problem. So one of my friends, Leo Chapman, he's recently been elected as a candidate for a councillor for Baldock and Letchworth East. He has a lot of the same views I have. He's a lot more political, so I'm not too political. So he sort of covers that aspect of things. He's an absolutely amazing person, and I have absolute faith in him to do the right thing for the community, to help out with environmental issues as well as personal issues in like the work area of the world. He would cover absolutely everything. He takes everything into consideration. He's seen a lot of aspects of life, so he will not single anyone out and think anyone is less important than someone else. He will think about absolutely everyone and make sure that everybody has an equal chance at success or just living their life, and he'll give everyone equal opportunities.